For more than 1,000 years, Al-Azhar in Cairo has been this incredible center of gravity for Islamic learning, a real beacon for the entire globe. But how does an institution that's been around for a millennium speak to our modern, English-speaking world? Well, we're going to dive into that by looking at a fascinating tool they created, their very own English textbook.
And right there, in one line from the textbook's preface, you get the whole mission statement. This isn't just about learning English grammar, It's about empowering a new generation to talk about their faith on a global stage. So that brings up a really big question. Why is a custom-built English curriculum so important to Al-Azhar's mission right now?
To really get that, we've got to understand that this book isn't your average language course. Nope, it's a tool that's been carefully designed for a very specific, and you could argue, a very important job.
What's really interesting here is that the book itself calls this an ESP course. That stands for English for Specific Purposes. Now think about that for a second. ESP means you're not just learning random vocabulary. You're learning the exact language you need for a specific field. In this case, that field is communicating Islamic studies, culture, and values, and doing it with confidence.
So what does that actually look like? Well, the book's goals are super clear. On one hand, yeah, it's about giving students the right Islamic terminology to teach effectively, but it goes so much deeper than that. The real key here is promoting cross-cultural understanding and preparing students to be citizens with social and global awareness. It's all about building a bridge between their own heritage and the wider world.
Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get into the what. To get students ready for this mission, the textbook doesn't start with, hello, how are you? It starts with the absolute foundations of the faith itself.
It kicks off right at the heart of it all, belief in Allah. That acronym you see there, by the way, is a common honorific that means glory be to Him. The very first unit is all about understanding God, His oneness, His names, His attributes. This makes sure that before students learn how to communicate, they are rock solid on the core message they're going to be sharing.
And this is a perfect example of their method. Instead of just diving into abstract theology, the book breaks it all down. It presents the 99 names of Allah, gives you the transliteration, and then the meaning. So a student doesn't just memorize Al-Salam, they understand it as the source of peace. It makes these huge, profound concepts totally accessible and, just as important, teachable in English. From there, from theology, the curriculum shifts into history, and it uses the lives of the prophets as the main source for guidance, for morality, and for what it means to be a leader.
So when it covers the life of Prophet Muhammad, it's not just one long story. They break it down into these key, distinct stages. You walk through his birth, the very beginning of the revelations, the struggles in Mecca, building a community in Medina, and all the way to his final sermon. This step-by-step approach gives students a really clear narrative they can easily follow and then share with others.
And it's not just focused on one figure either. The textbook has detailed lessons on other major prophets, like Moses. By doing that, it connects the students to this wider, shared Abrahamic history, and that just reinforces the universal feel of the message they're being trained to communicate. So, we've got the theology, we've got the history. Where do you go from there? Well, the next step is crucial. It's about translating all those principles into practical values that actually mean something in a global society.
Okay, check this out. Look at how the book defines tolerance. A regular dictionary might say it's just, putting up with something you don't like, but the textbook's definition is way more active. It's about respect, acceptance, even appreciation. It even includes forgiving someone when you have the power to get revenge. That's not passive tolerance, it's an active, powerful virtue.
And it doesn't stop there. The curriculum spotlights other huge values. Justice is defined as one single standard for absolutely everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a ruler or being ruled, rich or poor, Muslim or not. And altruism isn't just about being a nice person. It's framed as a core sign of true faith, actually preferring others over yourself. These are ideas designed to resonate with anyone, anywhere.
So you put all this together, the theology, the history, these core values. What's the end game? What is the ultimate goal here? What kind of person is this curriculum trying to shape?
Well, the preface actually spells it out perfectly. It creates this vision of what we can call the modern Azharite. They are meant to be, number one, a pious preacher, totally grounded in their faith. 2, a good citizen, involved in their community. 3, an effective reformer, someone who works for positive change. And 4th, tying it all together, a global communicator, someone who can build those bridges we were talking about.
When Al-Azhar describes itself as the conscience of the Islamic nation,
this textbook becomes one of its most important modern tools. It's a very deliberate, very direct effort to translate that conscience, its values, its history, its deep theology into English, which is, for better or worse, the main language of global conversation today.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. In an age where communication is often instant and maybe a little shallow, how does a deeply thought-out, specialized textbook like this one really shape the global voice of a 1,000-year-old institution for a whole new generation? It's definitely something to think about.